everyone. This tutorial is an introduction to the Library and Information Science Source Database. An alternative name or keyword is also the LISS database, which I will also be using throughout this presentation and to keep things, kind of short. Before we get started, I did want to go ahead and talk about a little bit about who I am and some of the reasoning why I decided to create this database tutorial. So I am a graduating senior this semester 2022 year in the SJSUMLAS program. I received my BA degrees from CSUN in Sociology and Gender and Women's Studies. And if you do need to reach me, please feel free to email me at the email below. I will be happy to answer any follow-up questions or any other loose ends or concerns that may arise. What is the database, right? So I did have to go online to find a little bit of information on the database. I ended up on the EBSCO official webpage, and EBSCO states that the Information Services Division that created that database is a division of EBSCO Industries. So it is one of the largest privately held and family-owned companies in the US. So, it's a private database. It would come at a charge if we were not students to access all of their materials through this database. EBSCO Industries has been in business since 1944, which I thought was interesting. And they did start as a small subscription agency, but EBSCO quickly became a pioneer in the library services industry. It's also important to note, as I previously stated, the database is not free to use. Our library pays for a subscription service that then allows all students and staff and other visitors to access the information. I did look up further information in one of the slides, and I did note that the price was like $53,000, so that's interesting. So who would be interested in using this database? I would say graduate students pursuing an MLIS degree or those who are looking to learn about library sciences. Again, as an entering graduate student, navigating these resources, finding these databases, was a little challenging at first. It took me 2 tries to pass Information 200 because I just wasn't aware of how much information there is out there and just how much we can all find and use to complete papers or other assignments that are assigned via the different courses that need to be completed to gain the degree. Also, those who are interested in locating full text articles, again, for assignments or multiple courses, and then also those who can access the databases via the King Library to learn about the different information that the library offers. I think even though you might not use it per se, it's also good to know that it's there and how to use it just in case the need arises in the future. Okay, so I did want to get into it on a little bit of the content information. So again, some of the subjects that are covered within the database are automation, care and restoration of books, cataloging, censorship, et cetera, et cetera. The list is endless. The important thing to note is that, the database will give you access to full text articles and other materials, like books, trade publications, periodicals, etc. I did have one underlying, question was how far back does the database have information from? What year? Would it be the 1800s, the 1900s? As it turns out, I was not able to find that, that particular number, but I'd be curious to know, what year, how far back the database content, goes and whatnot. And then, this is the picture where I found that the Library and Information Science Source Database is $53,711.21. That's what it's going for, that's its going rate, and that is how much the library pays in order for us to have access to this information. So just some more information continued. the Library and Information Science Source, or the LISS catalog, right, indexes over 1,000 periodicals. It covers library science and information sciences. It includes, full text articles from 440 periodicals. And then, it indexes scholarly journals, professional magazines, books, chapters, and library school theses. So there's definitely an enriching amount of information to be gained from, this database. It also covers feature articles, short news articles, books, reviews, and much, much more. I have seen movies, I have seen pictures on the database itself that, can sometimes be useful for when, creating content or trying to complete an assignment or just looking for, general information. It does also include abstracts for recent years, which I thought was interesting. So it seems like a lot of the, older material might not have abstracts, but recently they've, started to incorporate those into their entries and, make them useful for students who are, kind of on a time crunch, trying to see if these articles will be useful or the information that they found. I also found it extremely interesting that the database itself has a built-in searchable thesaurus of subject terms. So one of the things that, you will find is when you're looking for information, you need to know what to type in, to yield results. So using a thesaurus before the search or even after, just while you've decided to, look at things, can be super useful in terms of narrowing down what subject terms are going to be the most useful, how to get this information to correlate to any assignment or any particular interest as well, or information need, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about accessing the database. In order to gain access to it, what I would recommend is using the King Library webpage at library.sjsu.edu. The library has a list of articles that, is alphabetized. It houses all options available via the, SJSU King Library website, which I think is pretty neat. It's super useful. It's something that, you're able to go ahead and, take advantage of. But please keep in mind, to access these materials, you might be prompted to sign in with, student credentials more than once throughout the process. So just, remain patient, and, hopefully this helps to understand a little more about what the database is. Our next slide is just some quick references, just where I found the information for some of those, numbers and materials. But thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, everyone.